Here at Pro Football Weekly, we've taken a look at the hot seat meter. And Eric Edholm, our senior editor, ranked all 32 NFL head coaches to see where they rank on that hot seat meter heading into 2012 season. We're going to take a little turn from what we've been doing here, Eric. We've talked about a lot of coaches that are squarely on the hot seat. Yeah. And this is a coach that was on the hot seat last year, but now comes in at number 8 on your list. That's Texans head coach Gary Kubiak. Recently signed an extension, finally got the Texans to the playoffs. What's his status right now?
Well, it's fascinating. You might argue that with that extension signed in June, that he's as bulletproof as they come. I mean, he could be the safest guy in the league. We all know that to not be true. Guys like Tom Coughlin, Bill Belichick, they're at the top of the list, the Harbaughs, etc. But Gary Kubiak, he's probably pretty safe. He won the division, like you said. He and Marvin Lewis probably topped the list a year ago. Both had playoff seasons, helped themselves out. I do think there still is pressure on him, just because the expectations have been raised in Houston. They get a starting quarterback back. They re-sign Arian Foster to a big deal. They got to prove that was worth it. People now have a taste of winning in Houston, and he's got to back it up. If he goes back to 6-10, are they going to be able to stomach that? And if so, for how long?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are picking the Texans as kind of their AFC sleeper. There's a lot of really competitive teams in the NFC, but when you look at the AFC, when you put all those pieces together and what's going on in Houston, what that defense did last year, and he does have some help from Wade Phillips, of course.
Yep.
But again, throughout the series, we've talked about the quarterback, and it does make a big difference as a head coach. You got Matt Schaub in kind of an interesting case. Even before he got hurt, he wasn't the Matt Schaub we were kind of used to. So there's obviously a lot riding on him to help get Kubiak and the Texans back to the playoffs.
Kubiak was brought in to be a quarterback guru. He's had Schaub. He's had some 4,000-yard seasons, but he's missed games. This is a contract season for Schaub as well. So there's pressure on both men to perform this year. Kind of to determine the future of the franchise. Do they go with a TJ Yates after this year? Do they go with a draft pick or a free agent? So a lot of unknowns. So Kubiak, there still is pressure on him. There's no doubt about it. But he doesn't have to coach with his back against the wall. He did that last year. It worked well for him. But 2 years in a row, that's kind of a tough act to follow. Now he can kind of breathe easy, take some chances when he has to. But this is a guy with a lot of security with that 2-year deal. After 2013, if they don't win, things change a little bit, though.
Yeah, you can only breathe so easily because this is a team that, for the first time in their existence, has expectations. Yeah. I think everybody is picking them to win the AFC South, and they probably should.
Yep.
And a lot of people, as we mentioned earlier, are picking this team to go to the Super Bowl. So watching how this team handles the expectations, obviously a lot of that is going to go to its head coach. How does Gary Kubiak kind of handle that situation and keep his team even-keeled after what happens last year? I got to imagine, the owner, Bob McNair, is going to be watching that very closely.
He will. He absolutely will. He's involved in this team as much as any owner in the NFL. And look, if they went 3-13, could he get fired? Of course. That's why he's 8th on this list. I had to put him a little above some of those guys who are rock solid. But the fact is, he's going to be back in 2013. We just don't know whether there's going to be more pressure to win based on a poor season, or if the expectations have been raised even farther based on a terrific year in 2012. That's going to be what we'll find out.
And as we've talked about with almost any coach on this list, maybe outside the top 6,
yeah.
If you go 3-13, you're probably going to be done
he's
regardless.
Yep.
But Gary Kubiak definitely has some safety, much more than he's used to. We'll see what happens this season and where he ranks next year. If they don't make the playoffs, we could be talking about him being on the hot seat. To see Eric's entire story and where all 32 NFL head coaches rank on the hot seat meter, check it out at ProFootballWeekly.com.